Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to What's Map, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Well, remember the start of the week, I felt this week was going to be blessed with seal of approval maps. I thought it might even be one every single day, having checked the thumbnails, and there were no stinkers whatsoever. Well, today's map, it's a fantasy map. We haven't had a decent fantasy map for the longest time, so ever hopeful today might be the day. It's a vanilla map, which is always good to see, and it's also one of those very special things, you know.
It's my first map.
It's the creator's first map, so ever hopeful that this Russian creator could produce something that will get us all smiling and getting us all doing this. That's right, even if you hate the map, if you hit the like button, it really does support the channel and it gets me growing a little bit more every single day, so thanks for your support. Today's map is Forgotten Islands by nikolavrj. Okay, nikolavrj, let's see what you've got for us. Now, I think the screenshot's been taken with relight average, but, well, there's no instruction to use relight average, so I've gone with the usual, you know. There's your start square, a little bit of water down in the bay there. Hopefully there is some sort of water source in that area. There's your terrain heights and fantasy maps, so it's not going to be a realistic style. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's your resources, definitely usable and workable as well. Off to the workshop. It's a mass transit map that is all you'll need, even though it says that it does not require any additions. Well, mass transit isn't really an addition if you've already got it. Okay, so nothing off of the workshop, and yes, we'll be using the realistic 1.2 LUT, and the theme is the vanilla temperate theme, for those of you that want to know. Now, we've got a little bit of a glitch going on here, which is why we have no traffic on the left-hand highway. And you're thinking already, no, this is going to be a bad map. Actually, it doesn't get any worse than that. There are one or two little glitchy bits, but in terms of game breaking, there's not really too much worse than that on the whole map. Intersections are all very sleek and beautifully done. In fact, what I like about them is they're all really very tight, actually. Quite often on these maps we see sprawling intersections that take up virtually the entire little bit of blue mantle if you really want to get down low enough there. They're all very... Oh, hang on. 3 lanes into 3. I like this. I would like to see... Oh, the arrow could be straight on if that was possible. I'd like to see a little bit longer on the merge lanes. Maybe double that length, but still it's very good. Tiny little bit glitching between the roads there. And I know I've moaned about a lot of things already, but honestly, all told, I think this map's got a lot going for it. I do like the way that the roads separate and we've got the elevated sections. In some places it doesn't make any sense at all, but here it kind of does, because there's not quite enough room to get the highway and the rail through that gap. Down here to the first of our bridges, and the bridges are all very tidily done indeed. There's no blue mantle with any of these. Is that high enough to get a ship underneath? We'll have to check a little bit later on, but it might be, just about, possibly. And then on with the roads. The road laying is pretty fine. I don't think there's a parallel road tool involved here. There seems to be a little bit of sway, but I'm quite happy with it. It's very tidy, and again we've got some very slick intersections here as well. They seem very low to the ground. You think, oh, is there going to be some clipping, and honestly they're all actually high enough. I'll try and show you that a little bit later on if I can. Next intersection down here, there's plenty of them, and they are, honestly, again, look how tight and how small that is as intersections go. We could have had that sprawling over several plays. It's just really good to see it all condensed in, and the bridges are definitely high enough, no question there. 3 lanes, hang on, 3 lanes down to 2 lanes. 3 lanes down to 2 lanes, and then the 2 lanes split into 2 single. Yeah, I kind of get it. I'm not sure I would have gone down to 2 lanes, but there's nothing wrong with that at all. It might actually have been the better call. In between all the vanilla trees, loads of vanilla trees, and then down to a little bit of elevated section. Like, that's tidily done as well, very tidily. And then another bridge, which is probably high enough for that ship that's coming. Maybe we'll go back and have a look at that in a moment. Try and get there just in time to see it as it passes underneath. This is the main intersection down just away from the start square. Again, very, very tidily done. I've got to say though, there's a little bit of glitching, not just with terrain, but a little bit of glitching with the road right here. Very easily fixed, very, very easily fixed, of course. And with the terrain itself, you'll notice there's just a few little bits of jinkies, zigzags and shark's teeth going on. But it's genuinely very tidily done. I wonder if that ship's got to our... Oh, it's just approaching the bridge now. That was good timing. Now, okay, let's check to see this bridge while we're in the vicinity. Maybe speed the ship up. Oh, that definitely looks high enough. It's going to be close. But that is, yeah, that is just enough clearance. And I imagine that's going to be the same over here as well. And we're going to avoid the pillar. Ooh, probably, definitely from this direction. Makes me wonder about what happens if we come from the opposite direction, though. Well, you know, when we check that after the intermission. So we'll go and have a little look-see. Where were we going? We're going towards the start square, over the slightly glitchy intersection, but it's still very sweet. Over the bridge and now down into start square kind of territory down here. This is where I think probably second tile this square we're going through right now. And then you can see the building in the distance, the far ground, not the near ground, the far ground. That is, there you go, proof that we have arrived. We've gone the convoluted way just for a bit of fun today because it's a fun map. Cloverleaf intersection, not too much to say about that one. And then down here we've got one of my favourite creators again. You know who it is. It's Reaper. Now, last time we had Reaper, one of their assets, was a couple of weeks ago. I loused up badly. I used the wrong word. It was a bad choice of word, and I've apologised for such, and I stand by that apology. But in the time between then and now, it did occur to me what the word I really should have used was. And that word was savvy. So, Reaper, if you're watching this, or any of your buddies, any other fellow creators that happen to know you, if you just like to accept my apology one more time and accept that the word I tried to use, my head was unable to pull out while I was live recording, was savvy. Savvy was the word I meant. There we go. Anyway, this is Ritz-Carlton Hotel, a V2 medium by Reaper. Two other options for sites, I'm guessing the small and large, are available on Reaper's Patreon. And if you like this building and want more, I highly recommend Reaper's Patreon. So there we go. That's RICO Ritz-Carlton by Reaper. Today's asset of the day, and Factoids, because Factoids, BonBonB is an idiot. There we go. I'm just saying it. Just getting it out there. We'll carry on. I'm not going to go over old ground anymore. I think I've pretty much covered it now. I've apologised and I've corrected. And the corrections are as important as apologies, of course. Right, where were we? We were this intersection here. Let's head off this way. We've got perfect little bridges across perfect little gullies there. And we've got another little bridge over here, which again is pretty much spot on. Can't grumble. I wonder if there's any shipping through there. That looks really tight if it has shipping. Very tight indeed. Any shipping coming this way? No, that one's gone the other route. Oh, well, it won't be long before we find out anyway. And then a really lovely, look how tight this intersection is. Without looking implausible, I would say that is as good as you get in terms of intersections. Okay, the up ramp probably a little bit steep on this side, but it's definitely high enough and everything's good. So when we get to the end of the show and we start talking about marking things down, because we do have the broken bit of road, and there might be one or two other things to come as well, we've got to remember the good stuff as well, and it's doing everything in balance. I like the way, again, the roads are split up there to go around that bit of rubble. And I like this as well. Again, this makes all the sense to me. Now, if we were building a highway across here, there's not enough room to get both lanes of the carriageway down here and through this gap. That's the important bit, that gap there. So it comes out here and merges back up with the other highway right here. Whereas if we go back the other way, and there is an intersection there going off into the hills, which we will probably look at as well. If we come back this way, this is the only realistic way through this rough bit of terrain, and it's very well done indeed. So all credit where it's due for that little bit of work as well. Okay, rail. Rail is, considering the map, which isn't flat, isn't bad. There are one or two bits where if you want to have that realistic kind of vibe, they're going to be too steep. But it's a fantasy map, so we're going to allow a little bit of give for that. We do have one thing we can't allow, even in a fantasy map, is... Where are we? The only excuse for this, there you go. It's one of those streetlight clipping right the way through, slightly too low on the rail. A fantasy map or not, we can't have that, can we? We cannot have that. It's just beyond what is permitted in the laws of physics. Yeah, having a train able to go up a steep hill is one thing. Having a train being able to go through solid steel, well, something's going to break, isn't it? Perfectly smooth and lovely across here. We're skipping right over here. It's not too much to see, apart from the fact that it is flat. There's a ship across here and up this way here. I'm going to take you a slightly different route. We'll actually have a look at the road before we get to the intermission, because there's something I need to show you with that. Here we go. This is an example of where it might be a little bit too steep if you're a realist. Just coming up the other side of there. We could have easily done that, the bridge, a road bridge over the rail, rather than doing the rail through a little gully underneath there. Up this way, this is all tidy and nice, joining up alongside the highway here. This is all clean and sweet, and there'll be a river in a minute, and the river is key to basically finding something which has got a flaw and a fault in it. There we go. So perfect rail bridge, looks very nice, doesn't it? Have a look at the road bridge. We have a little bit of rock clipping through there. So tiny little detailing errors, tiny little bits of things to be cleaned up. But all told, remember, first map as well, this isn't too bad at all. Right, intermission coming up now. Prepare yourselves. We'll be having a look at all the usual stuff in the second half of the show.
Are your soggy little Sims constantly getting even more soggy? Are you continuously drowning your trees and soaking your city? Then you need BonBonB's flood management tutorial. Click the information button now.
And so back to Forgotten Islands by nikolavrj and shipping routes. Well, that's good. We know they're going to go underneath the bridges, and that will avoid the pillar on either side. But there is that one rail bridge that we are a little bit concerned about. We will check out. This bridge again, we've definitely checked that one. That's definitely high enough. Now this one, yeah, any ship on this side is going to go crunching through that pillar. So a minor detailing issue there. And then this goes out to sea this way. Now what we do have over here is a crossroads. Now these aren't actually connected. If we watch this ship, we can absolutely guarantee it's going to go straight over that connection. However, by having crossroads like this, what can happen is any shipping going across the left right now, if you imagine one's coming across left to right, it's just about to intersect and then goes crunching through our cargo vessel there. So crossroads are always a little bit of a danger for potential background aesthetics. Now water flow, the start square, you've kind of got this area to work with, a little bit of sea there and this bay. And if you look at the arrows here in the bay, it's coming in. Now hopefully there is a drain right here. Looks like there might be, doesn't it? And then we've got the water, the outflow water here is actually being pushed around this way from here, through this little area here, through this straight here, and it's actually pushing into the bay. So if you were to put your outflow on the outside, where are we? Right here. That's going to push all the sewage around and into the bay. If you're going to put sewage in the bay, well then the sewage is going to stay in the bay unless we have got a drain. As you can see there, we don't have a drain. So water flow, you're going to have to use some custom assets to deal with the sewage. Of course, you could be using water towers for fresh water. That's another way around it. Now, I don't like the way that we've got the sand on the plane, and then we've just got this drop off. A little bit of smoothing. This is the sort of little bit of finesse that you get when you've built a few maps, just to create more of a beach effect like that. Just bring the beach up a little bit more. Probably still a little bit too steep for a beach, but if I just show you, there you go. How long did that take? That was real time, that. And I feel that that automatically looks a whole lot more pleasing to the eye than what we have over here. But all told, it still looks okay. The overall aesthetic is not too bad at all. Now, we do have some alternative roads, which are fun. This one here, like the way that it zigzags up the side of the steep hill to get to the plateau at the top. But if I was a road engineer, I would be asking the architects, do we need to go that way? Could we just take the road up there, up here, maybe up this little here, and then there you go. That would be a fantasy map is one thing, but fantasy map with convoluted things put in just to convolute things is possibly a little bit of a stretch. Then we have some dirt tracks in amongst the map. This is kind of like your national park area. I don't mind this too much, but remember one thing: roads always go somewhere. Well, almost always go somewhere. Pretty much. I do have a road to nowhere on my last map, but it did go somewhere once. There was a background story to that one. So roads either lead from one place to another, or to a location, to a destination. Where do these roads lead to? Well, let's have a little look. We've got this pencil mountain. I kind of like that. I don't normally like those things, but I think it kind of works on today's map. Anyway, this road leads to, well, there's your destination. Now, you're going to say that's like a viewing point, a place to have a good look over the valley. Let's see. I'm not really buying it. Doesn't really say to me I would drive all the way up there for that view. There are probably better views on the map. The other road just leads back down to the highway. So I feel that those were just done for fun, and that's great. Let's all have some fun. The river mouth here, again, this needs some smoothing big time. And the underwater area, you see, it's like, what's that? Is that the wobbly thing at the back of the throat? There you go. Brain's gone again. Is it the ovula? So uvula? I don't know. Yeah, that wobbly thing at the back of the throat. That's what that looked like. And then we need a little bit of smoothing on these beaches down here. It's just a little bit glitchy looking. And I actually don't mind that too much. Don't like the fact it's got grass on the top, but I don't mind that too. It's not really a BonBon Island though, is it? What more have we got? Now, this river here, I kind of like it, sort of. Apart from the sand there. How would the sand be there? We've got fairly fast flowing water. That would just wash the sand off of that. The sand is normally where you got like still water. And basically, yeah, that would just wash all the way off of there. Don't mind the sand a little bit further down than that, but it's a nice idea. It's a credible idea, and nikolavrj should be applauded for actually having a go. And this map would have taken quite some time to build as well, so credit there too. What do you think of this map though? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Well, only you can decide. What do I think? I think it depends on what else is coming this month. I kind of like it. Aesthetically, I would like to bring this up to 4 stars, but I just feel it lacks a little bit of polish. It's definitely unforgettable, and I think it's a very strong 3-star map, even with the glitches. The detailing, some of it is excellent. I'm loving every single one of the intersections. They're really tight, they're done really smoothly, loving all of that work. Quite like the tree work as well, but there are some issues with it, and therefore I can't get it to 4 stars. I don't think it's anywhere near bad enough to only get 2 stars. I'm going to give it 3 stars again. Gameplay potential. There are a couple of broken bits. We've got the broken highway. We have got the potential water issues in the start square. Not huge amounts of build plane, but enough. I think the whole thing just about works. I'm gonna give it a low 3. Don't think it deserves just 2 stars. I think Forgotten Islands by nikolavrj is not a bad effort for a complex map, and it is a complex map and a first map as well. So credit for everything there. I think, Nico, if you continue working on map building, you are gonna be rather good rather quickly. Keep it up, my friend. Well, thanks for watching, for commenting, for liking and for subscribing. Join me tomorrow for another map in the What Map series. It's the request map tomorrow, and it's one of the BonBonB buddies whose name is just nipped off the screen on the right hand side there. Old map on the screen now if you want to click and have a little look at that. And don't forget, Flowscape, give him Flowscape a big old push. It's a really, really good game and a really good show. Thanks for watching.